Amy, let's start kind of where we always start with clients and potential customers and say, along the buying journey, what problems are you trying to solve? What is that? Pick that ideal use case. So many times people come in and they have immersive technology and they have VR training and they have headsets and they have all these things on their mind and they run right past the most important question that they should be asking themselves when the bidding. Why is it so important to understand the problem that you want to solve?
Yeah, right. I mean, exactly. The technology at a certain level should almost be transparent, right? It's not about the technology. The technology is a great tool, but the reality is without, the right use case and the right learning objectives and results identified, all the great technology in the world is not going to help you sort of train your employees better. And so that's absolutely what we start with when we talk to partners and prospects and customers. We say, what problem are you trying to solve? Just starting out that simple, and then sort of drill down from there. And sometimes it's not apparent, and it just takes a little bit of then thinking about, okay, well, what are you unhappy with in your current training environment? Do you have regulations that are governing your business where you're not meeting those standards? That training can be a part of helping solve that type of problem. So there's like a series of questions usually that we go through to help guide people uncover what those great use cases are.
We like to focus on where is there a problem, where is there pain, where are you failing, and where do you need to get better. Number one, that's generally where the most impact can be felt from the new technology. Number two, that's where the business results are going to be verified the quickest. And we'll talk about later on in the discussion, when you need to go make that case after you run a pilot program or two, and you need to make that case around ROI and making the investment to leadership, senior leadership that's going to make the budgetary decisions. It's important to show that, hey, we took a particular pain point of ours and we moved it from pain to competitive advantage. And this is how we did it. And here's the numbers that back it up. So like starting with something that's not already running well is probably the best place to start, because you're going to feel the impact.
I mean, and I would say we really try and advise to be super specific, right? So to the extent of, okay, let's assume that we identify a use case, we design the training. What is it that you want to see after the training improve, right? I mean, let's talk about, is it a reduction in training time? Again, is it that they have better knowledge retention? So being really specific too, I think just helps in general along the whole design process.
Traditional kind of why you would, what are the benefits of VR training? And you talk about, well, it's easy to reproduce, and it's, scalable cost across, multiple different users and large workforce. Certainly, with the advent and the continued popularity of remote work and distributed teams, that makes the case for being able to deliver training directly to employees without having to worry about the travel associated with it, certainly coming out of the pandemic and such. Do you see people trying to solve those problems still, like those very traditional cases of like something that's dangerous, something that's expensive to recreate, something that,
Yes.
you talked about soft skills, and you could, I'm sure there's some great actor simulations that people can run through. It's great, but like, can I do those 15 times a night as I'm preparing for my manager meeting? Or can I do that before I go to work on that stamping press, in 2 weeks? Can I get 50 hours of training in on that when you can't really shut that machinery down during the workday to train on it? So, talk about some of those just like classic use cases.
We do, for sure. And these are also available on our website. But for example, we did like GE Healthcare, we did a CT scanner training, right? And this was we recreated basically that scanner and the steps and the processes to train people, because to your point, there's like one scanner, in a hospital. They're expensive, they're bulky, and guess what? They're being used for patients, right? So it's really difficult to get people in them for training because they're always in use. And so we recreated that environment inside a virtual reality session. And what happened was they used it, and probably about 50 to 60% of their training before they even got in the room with the simulator was done in the headset. And then that way, when they got there, they were so much more efficient basically in doing like a practical hands-on in the actual room with the equipment. We even have the capability to do like gamification during training. So you can do standard training, or you can add like another layer of gamification where you've got a leaderboard, or you can create a little friendly competition sort of inside an environment. And those are just additional tools on top of the technology that makes it stickier and more effective.